packaging room that is kind of, we have one of our coolest toys in there, and it sets it up for packaging. So come on in.
But I never used them. And
It's harder. I know some guys that go right to kegs. It's definitely, you can't get the carbonation level just right. It's a little different.
Yeah.
There, I'll shut this door. It's nice and cool and quiet in here. So this room is where we store our finished product. It's just, now beer is one of the world's original preserved foods. CO2 is a preservative, alcohol is a preservative, hop oils are a preservative, yeast is a preservative, all forming like a perfect storm to make stuff last. You could drink a 2-year-old beer. You know, we get hung up on flavor profile, but beer does not produce, pathogenic situations where you're gonna get sick. Leave some milk out for a month, you're not gonna drink it. You can leave a beer on your windowsill for 6 months and drink it, and it's not gonna taste good, but it's not gonna be bad either. So we store everything in here just to make it consistent and shelf stable and just a superior product for everybody. This is our draft cooler. So this is a good example of what's going on in the world right now. A lot of this is aging draft. So you see all those kegs? We've stopped filling them, and we've moved a lot of them, but that's a byproduct. So this is our package room. Notice it's pretty empty because we can't keep up. Well, we have all the keg beer you could drink. So that's just one of the downfalls of the current situation of the market. I prefer draft beer too, so it hurts me.
How long will the draft beer retain its flavor where you can still continue?
A long time. It's cold in here, so we've been chipping away at it. You know, one of the things we've been lucky as a company, we don't have too much of it sitting around. So it's funny, we kind of argue about this production-wise. I'm like, we've got to get further out ahead of production. You know, instead of like a just-in-time model.
Right.
Well, for the first time, the just-in-time really worked because we weren't caught up. Dude, so here, come on in.
Why don't you talk a little bit about, like Julie was talking about, how the enemy of beer is oxygen, O2, and how you probably do the stripping of all the O2 out as much as possible.
Well, so now our beer's brewed, we're fermented, now we're ready to package. So now this is really when you have to be completely on guard. After the boiling is done, it's the step up of sterilization. After you're fermented, because yeast is an aggressive little bugger. So yeast actually protects you a little bit. But after that, now we've got to be ultra careful about picking up 2 things, contamination and oxygen. So oxygen is kryptonite to beer. So the whole step is, it's one of the reasons we use so much CO2 in purging, moving everything along. And also there's one thing, is keeping the beer cold suppresses any of that. So it slows everything down, which is why it's 60 to 50 degrees in there and 36 degrees in here. So keeping oxygen out gives you a better product over time. But one of the things we have to do in order to do that is these pieces of equipment. Yeah, don't step on anything wet. So this is a traditional plate and frame filter. Cellulose base pads just pull up to a certain micron level. They're polishing filters. They make the beer look pretty. Doesn't really do anything microbiologically because it doesn't go down that far. This is a 45-year-old German press filter, but this is kind of like the, I don't say one of the prizes in this brewery, is a centrifugal filter. So what this is it's a mechanical filter. It pulls out all the yeast. You know, the beer goes in, spins around, the heavier yeast and troop solids get thrown out to the side. We get more beer. It is purged and backed up by CO2. So it's, I would say, an inert environment. The beer doesn't even know it's going through it. It speeds up the aging process. It doesn't have any byproducts. Spits a little yeast down the drain. The only care and love this thing needs is cleaning and electricity. So, but it also increases our output. We could filter those fermenters completely. So again, it probably gives us a 2 to 3% increase on output. It's free beer. That pays its return on investment. Now that's a $250,000 piece of equipment, so you have to pay for it too. But it makes life easier, makes superior beer, gives me more beer. Everything, again, it's kind of funny. It's all like connected to the internet, so they can literally monitor the vibrations. Like, so like a bell goes off in Germany somewhere and time for a tech call. You know, it's balance the machine, keep it running, but it never stops. It can run 20 hours a day, be cleaned, and be ready to go again. So that is one of the most important pieces of what we have here for efficiency, money, and quality. Because that,
You know?
7,500 RPMs. We just upgraded. We had that Cold War green one. You guys remember that? This is an upgrade. So we came in Monday, it didn't work. By Thursday, that was hooked up. This had sitting on a skid ready to go, and we were disappointed. We immediately felt the benefits of it. We're like, why didn't we do this years ago? So after this, we're in the bright tank and we're ready to be packaged.
So just a little quick recap. So when the beer is in the fermentation tank and that yeast is settling to the bottom, you take the liquid off the top, the beer, but there's still a small percentage of yeast left in it.
There's a lot.
Okay, there's a lot, not a small percentage.
Yeah, no, it's barrels worth of beer.
So then they bring it over here, and that's why they go through this additional filtration step to remove that remaining yeast particles, so you have pure beer. Is that a
Pure
good way
beer,
to
but
say
you're getting, like I said, too much yeast is a bad thing. You know, so what? A pale Pilsner, you want no yeast. You want it clean, you want it crisp, and you want it pretty. One of our products is a Munich Helles. Helles means brilliant, bright. So some of them you want nothing left in it. So it goes from the centrifuge through the plate and frame to polish it up, make it look pretty, and then on to packaging. Some Hefeweizen, things like that, but hops don't like certain things too. So we just run that through the centrifuge and let them do their own thing.
Okay.
But it also, like, but just like the Whirlpool, it's a pickup of free beer. So we're actually be able to extract, you know, another 2 barrels per 150 barrels. And again, so it's free beer. You know, that all translates into sales, cost, money, time, and effort.
One barrel is what, 30-some gallons?
31 gallons.
31 gallons.
Beer.
That's a lot of beer.
13.77 cases.
Okay. So
These
then
are-
rewind and listen to those statistics again. 1 barrel is
31 gallons.
31 gallons, and how many
13.77 cases.
bottles or
Of the
cans?
case is 288 ounces.
Okay.
24 12 ounce.
Okay,
That's a 31 case.
all right. Hopefully you got it.